Hi there, my name is Keith Swain, and I am a hyperpolyglot. A hyperpolyglot is the word hyperpolyglot is a word that has come into use recently to refer to people who speak 6 languages or more. And one of the things that I do is I wear this shirt that I have on today when I go out to the mall or something, and it says on here, en español por favor, en français s'il vous plaît, auf Deutsch bitte, en portugués por favor. And people see this on my t-shirt and they talk to me in different languages. So I love interacting with my target language community, and every time I go out I try to use my languages. It's great fun, and somebody has nicknamed me the social linguist. I love that term because I think one of the really important things about becoming multilingual is using your language and using it with people who speak your target language as their native tongue. One question that I get asked a lot, and other hyperpolyglots as well, is do you think that this language ability is a gift or is it the result of a lot of work? And almost everybody I've talked to who qualifies as a hyperpolyglot has said that it's not a gift. It's just being efficient and learning how to learn languages. It's a very important thing. Many people spend a lot of time, spend a lot of money, and put a lot of effort into learning languages, and they get frustrated, which is why there's always lots and lots of beginners classes and then not so many intermediate classes and very few advanced classes, because people give up, they get frustrated. And I think there's good reasons for it. I think that most of what goes on for language learning is nearly a complete waste of time, and it's designed to frustrate you. How can you reach practical fluency as quickly as possible? I have been fascinated by how hyperpolyglots learn languages, and there are some differences. But what's really fun is discovering what people do that enables them to pick up new languages very quickly and very well. There are people who learn languages much faster than you ever thought possible, and I'm convinced that you can do this. I'll show you how. That's what this new seminar is about that I'm doing, called Very Fluent, Very Fast. What you need to do is 2 things. You need to do the right things, and you need to do things right. So it's very possible to spend hours and hours working really hard, and you feel like you're an intelligent person and you spend all this time and money and buy expensive programs and don't learn anything. And you think, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with me? Maybe I don't have this gift? I don't think so at all. I think that it's just really a matter of knowing what really works and how to do those things well. Recently, I was teaching my students, my Spanish and French students, how to learn massive amounts of vocabulary. So one of my students bought a great vocabulary book. I've got one here. I love this book. This is Mastering French Vocabulary, and there's been a number of revisions of this book. And all it is lists of vocabulary organized in themes. So you can look up all different kinds of buildings or political terms, all the parts of the human body, what else have we got here? Education, music, travel, and it's all organized in lists. But what's missing in most of these books is any useful explanation of how to transfer this. There's 13,000 words in this book. How do you get these 13,000 words out of this book and into your head? They don't tell you much about that. And so what people usually do is one of the most useless practices that I think you can possibly do for learning vocabulary. You cover up the French words and you say the English words, then you cover up the English words and say the French words, and you do this over and over and over again. That is one of the least efficient things that you can do to acquire new vocabulary. But I've been teaching my students how to learn 1,000 words in their target language every month, and they're doing it successfully. So it's not just me, it's not just because I have some sort of a gift. It's a matter of knowing how to do this, efficient and effective ways to bring 1,000 new words into your vocabulary every month. And remember, you only need 3 or maybe 5,000 words to have normal conversations in your target language. So you think, wow, if I could get 1,000 words a month, what could I do in my target language? So that is part of what I'll show you how to do in Very Fluent, Very Fast. I'll show you how to get massive amounts of vocabulary into your head and out of these great books. The problem is not the books. The learning tools are great. You can even use a bad book and learn a new language. And the problem is not your intelligence or your lack of a gift, because I've met some people that I don't think were very gifted or especially intelligent, who are multilingual. You can absolutely do this, and I'll show you how to do it. I think it's fascinating that people get intimidated by grammar. Look at this little book I've got here. This thing is smaller than my iPhone. It's called German Grammar. The entire grammar of the German language is in this little book. And I don't mean just the simple stuff. It's got like the subjunctive in here, if you know something about grammar. It's got the hard stuff in here. You can fit the grammar of the German language in a book this size. And really, most textbooks on your target language don't have a lot. The grammar of the language is very small. If you strip out all the exercises and the colored pictures and everything, you end up with something like this. So this is not a lot of information. And it's well organized. This book isn't in print anymore, so you can't order it. But there's lots of books like this. It's well organized. It's a great little book. The thing that they don't tell you again is, how do you get this out of this little book and into your head? How do you make it so that you can use these kinds of language patterns in your target language instinctively, intuitively, without really pausing and flipping through conjugation charts in your head and der, die, das, dem, den, and all these verb endings and stuff like that? But how can you get so that you can use these things naturally and instinctively? So I'll show you how to do that, how to get this out of this cute little book and into your head. It's not a lot of information, but you just got to do the right things and do them efficiently. The thing that hyper-polyglots have, and I'm speaking from experience, what we are good at is being really efficient at learning languages. It's not that we're smarter. That's definitely not true. Speaking for myself, it's not that I'm smarter. It's that I've done this a bunch of times, and I know what works, and I know how to get this done quickly. If I take on a new language, I can be speaking this language very quickly, certainly more quickly than when I took on my first foreign language. I'm much, much faster at that. And I've learned a lot from other talented language learners. That some of them you'll see on YouTube. They're very interesting to watch. And there's all kinds of stuff that you can learn that will make your language learning experience go much faster. This is especially helpful if you're learning a language that there's not classes available for. For example, if you want to take an advanced class and there's just a whole bunch of beginners classes, what do you do with that? What if you want to learn Bulgarian and the night school or the local language schools only have French and Spanish, Italian and German or something? You want to do Bulgarian. How do you do Bulgarian? I'll show you how to do that, because all of these skills are completely transferable. It doesn't matter whether you're learning Swahili or French or Bulgarian or a tonal language like Vietnamese. These skills are transferable, and I'll show you how to get proficient really quickly. I love this book. This is a Portuguese book, Português para Estrangeiros. It's a book on Brazilian Portuguese published in the 60s. It's an old book. I love the photo of the author on the back side. Very 1960s book. This book has absolutely no instructions in it on how you're supposed to get this information out of the book and into your head. The idea, I guess, is that you just write out a lot of exercises and that sort of thing. But I'll show you how to take the samples from this book, which I think is fantastic, how to take the samples of Brazilian Portuguese and use them to get the Brazilian Portuguese out of this book and into your head, so that you can say things in a natural, accurate way in Portuguese. This book is wonderful, and some of these old books are great because it's just dense. It's just full of examples and examples and examples of correct Brazilian Portuguese. But how do you get that so that it becomes yours and so that you can use these language patterns without having to think about it? Great book, but I'll show you how to internalize that. You might have bought one of these kits. I really like these Teach Yourself kits. This here I've got Complete French. This is a beautiful kit. This is one of the latest versions of these. They've been around forever. Teach Yourself. And so you get a couple of CDs here with the audio, and you can listen to the dialogues and listen to the French pronounced correctly. Beautiful book here. This the latest book of Teach Yourself Complete French. It's a beautiful book. Great big thick book like this. It's got color pictures in it. Let me see if I can show you some examples here. It's just a beautiful book. But again, the question is, okay, so I've got this wonderful complete French course. Now, if I just go through and do all the exercises and memorize all the rules and memorize the vocabulary, will I be bilingual? No, you won't. But I'll show you how to use this kind of thing to develop true proficiency, so that you haven't just completed chapter 20 or something, but you can actually speak in French with people and use this wonderful resource to do that. These Teach Yourself kits are a little better at giving you some idea of how to take that material and internalize it. But I'll show you a very efficient 7-step system for taking that, when you get one of these kits with a book and audio, on how to transfer that out of the written materials and the audio resources into your head. There's 7 steps, and I do this routinely. It's very effective, not only because it's an effective use of your time, but because you really do internalize that information, and you really do get it into your head and into your heart, so that you can use it spontaneously in what language teachers call connected discourse. You can talk, just repeating a few phrases and stumbling around for a bunch of rules and so on. There are some very inefficient ways. The resource is fantastic. Complete French, wonderful. You could do that whole book, write out all the exercises, listen to all the dialogues, and still really not get much result from it. Or you could take a more efficient approach to that, and you could internalize all that information and say, wow, I can really use the French language. So the resources are good. You're smart enough. You're hardwired to do this. It's really a matter of finding efficient ways of transferring that information inside of you, into your heart and mind. I will also teach you a 5-step system that I use for interacting with my target language community. So as I said, I walk around the mall or down the street and into my local Starbucks stores, and I'm wearing my shirt, and people talk to me in all these other languages. But I actually have a 5-step system that I use for interacting with people, so that, and I can teach you how to do this. You'll go out, use your target language, and come home and be sure that you actually have a higher degree of proficiency than when you went out. And this is something you don't have to pay for. Again, you can get native speakers to speak to you in their target language, and it's all for free, and it's the real life experience. It's highly motivating. When you're doing the right stuff and when you're making progress quickly, it's so exciting and so rewarding. You won't give up. You won't lose steam or lose motivation. You can go out and put your language to use in real life situations. It's a blast. And I think you're really going to enjoy this seminar called Very Fluent, Very Fast. I'm going to put the URL at the bottom of the screen, so you can go to the website and find out more about this program, and you can request some information. We've got a couple of dates always coming up, but as I'm recording this video, I've got a couple of dates for the seminar coming up very soon. So give me a shout, and we meet typically for about 4 hours with a break in the middle for a meal or a coffee break or whatever. So that's what you should expect. And doesn't matter what language you're learning. If you're learning, something that is less commonly studied, if you're learning, Zulu or Amharic or something, this is a great course because as I said, the skills are transferable. I look forward to seeing you at Very Fluent, Very Fast. And I'm telling you, you'll really enjoy this, and you'll get some great results much faster than you've ever got in a language course before, and you'll be able to use it over and over and over again. Look forward to meeting you face to face. See you soon.